Waiver gems and trade block plays. Win today and plan for days. Waiver gems and trade block plays. Win today and plan for days. Waiver gems and trade block plays. Win today and plan for days.
Win your league, stack that bread, or start a boom and lose instead. Sunday Surefire, let's go.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sunday Surefire podcast. I'm your host, the Commish. Joining me today are my guys, my man Aaron Downtown Brown.
Hey.
And my boy Ethan Weaver. Ethan, what's up, man?
Commish, how we doing?
Doing pretty well, boys. Doing pretty well. The NFL draft finally in the books. It was a really fun 3 days, as it always is. Just seeing where all these prospects we've been diving in on, where they end up landing spot-wise, both with the teams they end up with and with the draft capital invested in them. So finally have that last, as Ethan would call it, the last piece of the puzzle.
Last piece.
The last piece is in the books, so we know that. It's been a while since the three of us have been on an episode together, so looking forward to a reunion there. And we're going to be running down, like I said, a mock draft, 3 rounds. We're going to do our favorite format around here, which is Superflex, tight end premium. It's full PPR for all the other positions and 1.75 for all the other position for the tight end position, rather. 6 points for a passing touchdown as well for the quarterbacks. It's going to be a fun exercise to roll through here. Ethan and I have been crushing mock drafts lately, but we were nice and we let Aaron have the number 1 pick in this draft. So I guess anything we want to lead with, boys, before we dive in here?
I was just gonna say, I know it's been a little hiatus for Sunday Surefire. Me and the commission traveling the world for my brother's wedding. We're down in Mexico for a while, so we're back.
I'm glad you guys made it back. I'll say that.
Yeah, we're happy to be back. We're all back in the saddle. Great time in the beaches of Mexico. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
But we're back. We're happy to be firing away in this exercise here, Aaron. So without any further ado, no drum roll necessary. Go ahead and take the chalk pick at 101, please.
Yeah, this is probably one of the easier picks, probably the easiest pick. So I'm not going to waste any time here. We'll go Ashton Jeanty. There you go. There it was. With the 1-1, I think by now, if you're new to Dynasty, this still should be pretty easy. So 1-1, Jeanty.
There you go. Jeanty at the 101. Easy. I'm going to keep the running back train moving here at the 102. Draft really starts at 102 in a lot of ways. This is where your team need really comes into focus. We should say, too, with this exercise, there's obviously no team, so we're just kind of going with the best player available. So, if you're in a league where your team needs don't necessarily dictate, you should take a player here. Just know that's part of the exercise here. Like if you were set at quarterback in the league, for example, and you passed on QB earlier in the draft, that would make a lot of sense, and you'd be smart to do that. So just want to go ahead and put that out there. But my pick here, like I said, keep staying with the running back position. I'm going to go Omarion Hampton, Chargers running back, was selected in the first round here, pick 22 overall. We know that the Chargers like to pound the rock, and they're going to continue to do that under Harbaugh. Najee Harris was looked at as an early free agency winner signing with the Chargers. But Omarion Hampton coming in here in the first round, getting that capital that we wanted in a great landing spot is going to definitely sink some of Najee's value. And it might not be Hampton from day one right away. Najee could still have a share in this backfield, but there's plenty of work to go around. And Hampton is obviously going to be the long-term answer for this team at running back. So was really happy to take him at the 102.
Yeah, future's very, very bright for Hampton. Najee on a 1-year deal, then it's going to be the Hampton show. 103, I think the pick probably should be the QB here, but I'm going to go in a different direction. Just based on some previous drafts I've been a part of, where Cam Ward was falling. I feel like he's fallen a little bit, and I feel like the guy I'm about to draft here, it has been rising. I mean, I feel like people just love this guy. I love this guy. He went to my New England Patriots. I'm going to go 103, TreVeyon Henderson. I just feel like he's just gaining so much steam. I think he's going to be utilized very well in the New England Patriots offense. As I said, I mean, this could easily be Cam Ward probably for the Superflex best value, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit and go TreVeyon Henderson.
Okay, we get the 3 running backs right out of the gate here, Aaron. Is the Ward slide going to end here at the 104, Aaron?
It is. It is. I do agree though. I do like I like going running back heavy in this draft, as we know so much talent there at that position. But yeah, I think with Superflex League, I think that's just the key thing to remember. If you're in a Superflex draft, I have no problem grabbing Ward, especially if you need a starting quarterback in your lineup or need a little bit more security there. He's going to be a locked in starter, so I have no problem grabbing Ward, even though I do like a lot of the position players available.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I was just saying, I told myself going into this, you guys gave me the third pick. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to go Cam Ward because I want to see how far he falls, because he fell quite far in my first rookie draft that I had this year. So didn't fall far in this one though.
You did not. It's different when you're picking in a vacuum for sure.
100%.
Cam Ward, 104 off the board. For my 105 here, I'm not gonna go running back. Certainly no more quarterback to draft. I'm actually gonna go Tetairoa McMillan to the Carolina Panthers. Top 10 NFL draft capital, which was amazing. Panthers, it's a mixed review. As far as a landing spot, you've seen got some mixed reviews on it. Listen, Bryce Young's no, surefire stud at the QB position, but there is targets for days in that offense just available to a guy like Tetairoa McMillan who walks into the league looking like a guy who's going to be a target magnet. Obviously, bigger frame receiver, touchdown upside for days as well. And if you look at Carolina's defense, it's just all the more reason to like the offensive pieces this year, because they can't stop anybody. They couldn't stop anybody last year. And sure enough, they go receiver in the top 10. So that's not going to help them play a lick of defense. So in a full PPR format here, I was happy to grab 10 here at the 105.
That brings me to the 106. I would have probably drafted the player I'm about to draft now at the 105. Yep. Yeah. So I'm going to go Tyler Warren at the 106. I think the format, the 1.75 tight end premium. Warren, I know people are kind of poo-pooing their landing spot, but again, we always tell ourselves, oh, you can't overreact to the combine. We can't overreact to sometimes the landing spot. I mean, AKA AJ Brown. I mean, people don't like the Indianapolis Colts landing spot because, hey, there's no quarterback there. But I mean, things can change so fast. They took him 14th overall. There's no tight end of consequence there. I mean, Michael Pittman's there. I mean, you have Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. I mean, but I think Tyler Warren's going to come into the Colts and be a focal point. You don't take someone in the top 15 not to get him targets. He can be on the field all three downs. I think Tyler Warren, honestly, I wouldn't blame anybody if you went even Colson Loveland here, if you did want to go tight end. But I think in this format, 1.75, I'd love to get Tyler Warren in the middle of the first round.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick. I do agree. I think Warren is slightly a safer pick than going
over Ted.
Loveland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, even Loveland too. Like I think Loveland might be more talented, but I think Warren is going to get integrated in that offense much quicker. But moving on to the 107 here, I'm going to go back to the running back train. One of the guys I like during your scouting process is Quinshon Judkins.
Don't take my guy. Come on.
If there's ever a great fit, it's Judkins going to Cleveland in that division. Just I can already envision just playoff time and cold football, snow football games, and Judkins just pounding it in the end zone. So I have no problem grabbing Judkins here at the 7th pick.
Okay, Judkins is off the board here. Tyler Warren's off the board. Like Ethan said, it's a 1.75 tight end premium league here. So I'm happy to grab my number one tight end in the process here in Colston Loveland at the 108. It's been no secret my love for my guy Loveland throughout the process. He gets top 10 draft capital, which is awesome. He goes before Tyler Warren in the NFL draft. I picked 10 to the Bears. All of a sudden, the Bears are a crowded situation for sure. Yep. But I'm not going to be worried about that. Things can change. Trades happen all the time in the NFL. Players just, they lose it sometimes as well. And we always say in this program that talent rises to the top in these situations. And I just believe in Loveland as a receiving talent. He's got a creative offensive mind, and Ben Johnson as his head coach did great things for Sam Laporta in his time in Detroit. So I'm not overthinking here in the format and just grabbing Loveland to 108.
Like that pick a lot. Like I said, I could see people going Loveland over Warren at the 106. What what prospect do you like better? Do you like the more the Gronkowski type? Do you like a little more Travis Kelce? Obviously, Travis Kelce, I mean, has been flourishing in the fantasy space, where Gronk is just such a complete tight end, but where Tyler Warren is that complete tight end. And I mean, Ben Johnson is going to utilize Loveland to the best of his ability, and it's probably going to ooze fantasy success. So like that pick. And that brings me to the 109, I believe. And I think this is going to be a little I mean, it's a risky pick depending on how you think he's going to be utilized. By all reports, he's going to be focusing on offense. And as much as I want to go running back here, I just think the upside of Travis Hunter is kind of too hard to pass up. If he is primarily used on offense and he does play, like, even if he's playing 65, 70% of the snaps, I mean, I feel like he's just going to be a target magnet. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. can take the top off defense. Brian Thomas Jr. can also kind of win anywhere in the field, but I just feel like Travis Hunter with Christian Kirk no longer there. I mean, Evan Ingram no longer there. If he's utilized heavily,
Davis,
yeah, RIP. I just think
Don't
Travis
start.
Hunter. I mean, Travis Hunter could get like 130, 40 targets as a rookie. I mean, his ceiling being the second overall pick in the NFL draft. To me, I think you can't take a second and third round running back over him. So I'm going Travis Hunter.
Yeah, that's a fine pick there. I think, with me knowing that I was going to pick at 10, I told myself I would probably grab Hunter if he dropped to me at 10, just for that upside alone. But, the two guys that I had in mind leading up to this 10th pick. So you went Hunter. I'm going to go. I haven't been on the show as you guys were scouting this guy up, but I definitely heard the shout outs. Being from Iowa myself, I'm going with the Iowa boy, Kaleb Johnson. Another one in that AFC North division. Like I said, just similar to Judkins, where I think he's going to have an immediate impact in the Steelers offense. So love that fit on that team with Johnson going to the Steelers. So I'm going to grab him at the 10th pick.
There you go. I love that pick. It's a third round capital. We wanted him to go in round 2 for Johnson. Didn't happen. That's fine. I love the landing spot a lot. We know Jaylen Warren can do some things out there, but he's not a bell cow running back. And Najee Harris walking out the door, they needed a bell cow running back. And also, Aaron, we know that he looks good in the black and yellow already. I mean, your Iowa guy. So
that's right.
That's a good pick there at 110. I'm going to take another running back off the board here. I'm going to go RJ Harvey to the Broncos. He was a guy who did surprisingly get second round draft capital going to the Denver Broncos. They just targeted him, really liked him. The other high profile running back, Sean Payton, is drafted, have all panned out for fantasy purposes. So hopefully that Harvey is just the next guy in that line to succeed. And look, there's opportunity here to let Javonte Williams walk. The remaining guys there, guys like Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin, are not household names and not guys that you can feed the ball to with the big workloads. I don't necessarily think RJ Harvey is going to need 20 plus touches per game either. I think he can get by with less than that, which we'd like to see. Should lengthen out his shelf life a little bit. I just think that the instant impact that Harvey can bring warrants it being a first round pick. So with the round quickly coming to an end, I wanted to make sure I grabbed a share at 111.
Yeah, RJ Harvey and Kaleb Johnson were two players I was considering at the 109. Harvey, I mean, very, very, very athletic. I like this tape, and he's going to a Sean Payton offense in the second round with almost zero competition in that backfield. So it's definitely wheels up for Harvey. So I mean, not a bigger winner from the NFL draft than that man right there. That brings me to the 112 to end the first round. Pretty easy pick. I think this guy has the safest, highest floor probably in the first round. Emeka Egbuka. He's a guy that he's not elite in any one thing, but he's almost good in all of it. And he's not a guy that's going to make a mistake. He's going to be a perfect player for any coach in the league, and he's going to a great offense with Baker Mayfield. Obviously, Evans is aging out. Godwin is consistently hurt. He's coming off an injury. So I think it's wheels up for Egbuka, and I think it's a really, really, really safe pick at the 112.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick. I mean, if coming up to the second round at the 2-1, I also wouldn't mind Egbuka going before me here too, because actually I'm going to go back to the running back train again, and I'm going to grab our friend Cam Skattebo here at the 2-1. I think he has I think he's got a great opportunity to take over a lot of carries with the Giants. I know we love our Tyrone Tracy, but I think he'll definitely get some goal line work and kind of be that 3-down back at times if needed as well. So I guess pre-draft it could be looked at as a little reach, but I think I'm talking myself into that landing spot. So if I only had one pick in the second round and I couldn't make a trade up, working on that early second, I wouldn't mind grabbing Skattebo here.
Yeah, if you're sticking a pick in early round 2, you need a running back. I actually like the Skattebo pick a lot. I know we all talked that he was one of these guys that we say, okay, if he gets day 2 capital, he's going to explode. He needs to get day 2 capital. And he didn't get day 2 capital, and that was tough. But he was the 3rd pick in the 4th round. Yeah. Like, if the Giants had the last pick in the 3rd round, they would have taken Cam Skattebo, guys. So I'm not overthinking the fact that he was a day 3 pick, even though technically he was, because there's just as much opportunity there in New York as there would have been if he was taking the Giants in there with their 3rd round pick. So we know Tyrone Tracy isn't a guy that you can give a massive workload to. He has fumbling issues as well. Those are well documented. I think there's nothing but opportunity for him. Here for him, and based on the running backs that are gone, I mean, he's by far the best running back left on the board. So I like that pick here a lot too. Cam Skattebo there at the 201, but I had to pivot here. I went with Matthew Golden, just snatching up the last 1st round receiver on the board. I just think that he's the opportunity to take on a massive workload in that offense. They've kind of been running a wide receiver rotation. But it just hasn't really been that great for them. I mean, Christian Washington can't stay healthy. Romeo Doubs thinks that he's better than he is. Jayden Reed's a nice little player and all that. That's great. But I don't know that he's necessarily a take the top off the defense kind of guy, or something that you really want to funnel your entire offense through. So big opportunity here with Matthew Golden, and I just couldn't let the last 1st round wide receiver stick on the board.
Yeah, Golden was a very easy selection in my opinion. 1st round capital to the Green Bay Packers. So there's a lot of opportunity there. The 203, little decision to make, but I'm going to go Jayden Higgins, who was I believe the 1st pick in the 2nd round to the Houston Texans, and I mean him being in Houston across from Nico Collins, a little maybe Mike Evans, Vincent Jackson kind of look there to 2 big-bodied receivers. I liked Higgins a lot throughout the process. I mean, I know as we were going through this process, he was more so towards the end of the 2nd round. He got almost 1st round capital, and his profile, his athleticism, I think he's going to pair very well with Nico Collins. And I think it's wheels up for him. So everything, like I said, the last piece of the puzzle definitely vaulted Jayden Higgins up my board quite a bit.
All right. Yeah, that takes me to the 4th pick. So it's got the 2-4. I'm not really a fan of this spot too much here in this early second. There's a couple guys that I really like. That I feel like I can get maybe mid-second or a few picks later. But I mean, like I said before, if you got just one pick only, then maybe you just get who you want. But I'll go, since it is Superflex, and he did get he was in the 1st round. I'll go Jaxson Dart here. I'm not in love with the pick, but like I said, it's Superflex. Getting a cute quarterback in the 2nd round isn't bad value. So I do like Dart, but like I said, there's a good chance if I was in this draft, I would possibly be trading back right now. But for this purpose, I'll go Dart at the 2-4.
There you go. Not a bad pick at all there, Aaron. Like you said, you're taking a 1st round quarterback who has journeyman in front of them. He's going to get a chance to start maybe it's not this season if they're competitive throughout, if Russell Wilson's, cooking just enough to stay on the field, but it's only a matter of time before Jaxson Dart does get that opportunity. And at the 204, you can do a lot worse, especially in the Superflex format. So that's a great pick there at the 204. I like that a lot. As we know, I'm a big Dart fan around here, so I'm inclined to like it. But I'm actually going to take his college teammate with the next pick here at 205. I'm skipping Luther Burden, and I'm going to go to Tre Harris, second round wide receiver, drafted to the Chargers. So pairing up with Justin Herbert. This team, as we know, with Quinshon Judkins is not the answer, so they need an next wide receiver badly.
Oh,
and Harris is. Ethan's asking me, Kylie, to stop spitting facts about Quinshon Judkins. I'm not going to do it.
I get it.
Yeah, they like I said, they need a real outside X wide receiver, and they got it in Tre Harris here. I think he's a plug and play guy from day one who could start if they needed him to in that role on the outside. And as we know, like Herbert is capable of supporting multiple pass catchers. We've seen that in the past, and I think they're gonna want to run the ball for sure. But I think Ladd McConkey is a good piece to run your offense through. But there's going to be secondary targets available in this offense. I think Harris is the guy to do it. And so we're double tapping the Ole Miss guys here. Aaron goes Dart at 204, and I grab Harris at 205.
Yeah, just real quick, I'm going to interject. That's the exact player I was potentially looking to trade back for. So I actually wanted Tre Harris instead of Dart at that spot, but yeah, he could get nabbed. So yeah, I love that pick. But Harris was the position player I was just talking about.
There you go.
Okay, that brings me middle of the second round. I think this pick is pretty easy for me. I'm going to go with the guy that the commission mentioned, Luther Burden, top 40 pick, 39th overall to the Chicago Bears. I don't know how they're going to distribute these touches this year. Hopefully maybe DJ Moore moves on at some point in the near future. Obviously not this year, but Komet, I know his days are numbered in Chicago, but Ben Johnson took him at 39th overall for a reason. I like Luther Burden, and throughout the process, he definitely lost a lot of steam. And instead of taking him in the middle of the first round, now we're getting him in the middle of the second round. So I'm willing to take the shot here at the 206.
All right, good pick there. Definitely nabbed him right before me here, but yeah, definitely dropping. He was a talented player, coming in the draft. So like that. I guess we'll, the top two tight ends off the board, if you weren't lucky enough to have a first round pick in your dynasty draft, this might be a good time to grab a guy that I think is going to get some starting time year one. And I'm going to go Mason Taylor at tight end here with the Jets. I think, with Conklin on the move and probably having Fields as a starting QB, he's going to get looks. So I wouldn't mind this capital here with Taylor, where, like I said, I think he's going to get, be a day one starter.
Yeah, he's definitely got the opportunity in that offense to succeed. We'll see if Justin Fields can turn around as a passer this year, and maybe if so, maybe Taylor could be relevant as a rookie. If not, he's young enough where he could succeed down the line, hopefully with a better QB upgrade. So we'll see on that one. I'm actually going to go to the quarterback position with my next pick here. I'm going to take a swing for upside here, long-term upside in all likelihood here in the form of Jalen Milroe, a quarterback out of Alabama. I'm going to take him here at the 208. This guy's a project. He's very raw. We know that, but he's a player that if everything lines up well, he does have that Konami code potential where he could be one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the NFL. Sliding in after guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, like right there with the next cluster of guys based on how athletic he is. So we know Sam Darnold is keeping the seat warm. Every place Sam Darnold has been thus far has been looking to upgrade at the quarterback position. I think the Seahawks will eventually turn this over to Milroe. If it's not 25, probably maybe even as early as 2026. So we're getting late in the second round here. So I'm willing to be patient and take a swing for upside at the quarterback spot.
I like that selection. I mean, it just pure upside there because I mean, if he hits, what a steal in the back half of the second round. That puts me on the clock at the 209, and I think I'm going to go with another. Let me see here. I think I'm going to go. I mean, this might be maybe a tad early, but I like the capital. I like the situation. I like the player. I know I took him late in the third round in my previous mock, but I think I'm going to go Jake Bech, the receiver. The Raiders drafted at 58th overall. I think he's going to be an immediate starter there. Big-bodied guy who can play all over the field, and I just think there's just so much opportunity there. I mean, there's only really one receiver in Jacoby Myers there, and then Brock Bowers. So I like the capital, and I'm gonna lean on that capital. I know there's a couple of upside swings that I could have took at the running back position, but those running backs are kind of buried right now, and they're probably at some point going to get opportunity, but I kind of, in my opinion, went with the safer pick with the second round receiver, who's I think guaranteed starter snaps.
I think it's the right pick here. I'll jump in front of Aaron to say this real quick because after the 208, I mean, I have a tier break right there. So it's kind of the best of the rest from there. And I think Bech deserves to be at the top of that group, just given the fact that he had that second round draft capital. And like you said, the opportunity is there for him. So it's kind of
tough. It was tough saying it. I was just like, but it's like, I agree with you. I think it was the pick there.
You can even argue he belongs in that tier based on the capital he got and the opportunity that he's looking at. But I think he's like, you can almost put him in a tier by himself also if you wanted to after that next group. So I think he made the right call there. He was the next guy on my board as well.
Yeah, he definitely nabbed him for me. He was going to be my 210 pick. So I think we're all in agreement there. Having a little bit of a tough time going back and forth between a couple guys, but it's funny. I've called a couple quarterbacks already, but this team took a huge leap of faith. Another QB that kind of beat out Shedeur, but maybe I'll take a leap of faith too with Tyler Shough. With New Orleans, I mean, I think they want him to be a starter, right? I think with Carr, with his days getting outnumbered, he might, like I said, he might get a chance pretty soon in his career. So late round second, I don't mind grabbing a quarterback here.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think Tyler Shough is a perfectly fine pick here. This in the second round. He's going to start games. Like at some point, he's going to start games. So like it's kind of I wouldn't say he has the ceiling that Jalen Milroe does because based on his lack of movement with his legs and all that stuff. But like if you want to bet on a starting quarterback, like you really need quarterback. If you're in the late second round, you can do a lot worse than a guy that is going to get a chance to start at the NFL level. And he's coming in season 2. He's like 26 years old as a rookie. So if you or maybe 25, whatever he is. Like, he's gonna hit the ground running. So Derek Carr, as we know, whether he's injured, maybe he's not injured, we don't really know what's going on with that situation. I think it's more likely than not that Shough gets on the field as a rookie. So don't hate the pick there at the 210. For my 211 here, I'm gonna lead back into the tight end premium format. Finally, get another tight end here on my board. You want me to do it? You want me to do it?
Just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Okay, I might not snipe you on this then because it's a guy that it's not like the tight end I've been talking up as my tight end 3 all along. I'm actually gonna go with Terrance Ferguson here. It's really splitting hairs between him and I'll just say Elijah Arroyo as the next tight end to go. I love me some Elijah Arroyo, but I just like this landing spot with the Rams has me so intrigued because his competition for targets, his main competition for targets is Tyler Higbee, 32 years old. Can't stay on the field, and let's be honest, when has Tyler Higbee ever really been him, other than short stretches here and there throughout his career? So, like this team's long term is a prime spot for a tight end to take over. It's going to be the Puka and Adams show this season with Ferguson, I think, mixing in there as the third option, it's the third option here in spurts when given Higbee spells. But I think that long term here, Adams is an older player too, 33 years old this season. So at the end of the season, so I think there's long-term opportunity here in this offense, and we know McVay uses the tight ends at least to some capacity. So I took the shot here on Ferguson at the 211.
I like that pick. I was just assuming you were going with your guy, Elijah Arroyo, which I will go at the 212. I mean, there are some running backs that I really like their upside here, but I just feel like with a tight end like Arroyo with his skill set going 50th overall to the Seattle Seahawks, who they view as a guy that can run every single route, be heavily utilized in the passing game. I still, for the life of me, don't understand why they don't utilize Fant in that way, but apparently his days are numbered there. I hope actually Fant gets out of there just because he's just been dying there year after year. But I mean, you take somebody at 50th overall that you're going to have plans for him. So I'm looking forward to the upside with Elijah Arroyo.
I like that. I guess that covers the second round already, right? I think kicking off the third round, obviously want to just take a skim to see who has a chance here in the third round to still be a starter, get some playing time right away. Guy we called out, actually Ethan called out in our sleeper series. I'm gonna go Jayden Blue here. Getting nabbed by Dallas. I think with Dallas grabbing Javante's going to get a shot, but Jayden Blue, if he can make some nice highlight plays, he can earn a spot as that split back with Javante, may potentially even take over for Javante in the future if he's not back into his normal shape. So I don't mind taking a shot at Blue here for his upside.
Yeah, Blue's a guy that I like for the opportunity reasons that you mentioned. Not a bad prospect either, and there's Miles Sanders isn't going to turn back the clocks anytime soon, I don't think, and Deuce Vaughn can't carry the load, so it's really just Javonte Williams. I think as his primary competition. We'll see how that pans out. I mean, we saw them lean into Ezekiel Elliott early last season, and then they finally said, "Screw it, Rico Dowdle's better. We're going to give him the reins." So if Blue can hang in there throughout the season and earn it. As the year goes on, maybe he takes over and kind of in a similar fashion to Dowdle did down the stretch 2024. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm going to go running back here. I like going running back in the third round, as we talked about. I'm going to go to Bhayshul Tuten down in Jacksonville with the 302 pick here. Sorry, Ethan. Snipe on your guy there. It's another kind of interesting situation where, like, Tank Bigsby looked good last year. ETN had the worst year of his career on the field for sure. And he's also walking into the final year of his contract. So, I mean, it's a new regime down there in Jacksonville. So there's really nothing tying Liam Cohen and company to either of the incumbent running backs on this roster. So Tuten's was their guy. They took him, and the other guy, they took him one pick ahead of Skattebo, who was a day 3 pick, but one of the first guys to hear his name called on day 3. So I just felt like we're in the third round. It's start throw territory. I may as well link up with a running back here and where at that position, it doesn't take a whole hell of a lot to get opportunities. So taking my shot here on Tuten.
There's no better dart to throw than an uber athletic running back like Tuten in a spot where I think there's going to be opportunity in the near future. So like that pick a lot. He was going to be my selection, but the running back I'm going to take is a guy that I've liked throughout this entire process. He fell in the draft a little later than I was hoping for in Dillon Sampson, running back going to the Cleveland Browns in the 4th round, I believe 126th overall. And Dillon Sampson's a player I've liked this entire process. He's fast. He was, I mean, a hell of a runner in the SEC. I believe he was SEC Offensive Player of the Year at one point in college. He just, I mean, great running back for Tennessee. And the Cleveland Browns took 2 quarterbacks and they took 2 running backs. Ford's not the answer. Chubb is not there. So it looks like it's going to be the Judkins and Sampson show. I mean, Judkins isn't getting all the work. So I think there is going to be opportunity for Dillon Sampson. If they can, I mean, is Dylan Gabriel the quarterback? Is Shedeur Sanders the quarterback? I mean, is Joe Flacco? I don't know. But hopefully if that offense can hum a little bit, and Sampson and Judkins can be a lethal one too, it'll be a lot of fun. So I'll take the upside swing with Dillon Sampson.
Nice. I guess I'm gonna keep the running back train going. When you said you're going running back, I was scared you're gonna draft my guy, but I'm gonna go Devon Neal with with my 3-4 pick. With Kamara getting older, I like that landing spot with Neal in New Orleans. Kamara's probably got maybe 1 or 2 years left, and then I know Ethan, you're a Kendre Miller fan, but I think he's had his shots multiple times and he hasn't really stood up for it. So I don't mind Neal's position on the Saints and him taking that opportunity. So I'm going Neal here at the 3-4.
Yeah, I'm a huge Neal fan too, and if Neal received fourth round draft capital like some of these other running backs to the New Orleans Saints, he'd easily be a mid to late second round pick for me. I mean, I loved his tape out of college, his production, his skill set. I think he can do it all. I was actually shocked he fell as far in the draft as he did. I think Devon Neal is a hell of a player, and I think he has more than a chance to earn that RB2 spot.
Yeah, usually we don't want to draft 6th, 7th round picks in 3-round rookie mocks or rookie drafts. But in this case, I actually do want to draft him in the form of Devon Neal. I was surprised the league didn't like him a little more as well. But I think he ended up in a good spot with an aging Alvin Kamara in front of him. So he is tied to this coaching staff, unlike the other backs on the team. Obviously, it's going to be the Kamara show in 2025. But we'll see how it looks beyond that. And maybe Kamara is a guy that gets traded. You never know how things can change. So I also like that pick a lot too. With this, I'm going to break up the running back theme here, guys. I'm going to go to the wide receiver position. I'm just going to go back to one of my guys that I really liked in the process in the form of Jaylen Noel, who ended up with the Houston Texans here. So I'm going to grab him at the 305. Obviously they double tap receiver in the second and third round. They went with Higgins, and they went back to the position with Noel, putting the 2 Iowa State receivers back together, which is kind of cool. But I think obviously, if you want your hands on Higgins, you got to take him in the early second round, and I get it. But if you look at this from a fit standpoint, I mean, Noel line up in the slot a lot more than Higgins did in college, and Nico Collins profiles more as an outside receiver than a slot receiver at the NFL level. So if you're just kind of putting those pieces of the puzzle together, like Noel actually kind of fits on the field more so than Higgins does with Nico Collins. But obviously they're going to mix them all in here. I mean, they drafted Higgins in the second for a reason, but they obviously value having 3 reliable wide receivers. It was something that they tried to build last year with Diggs and Tank Dell, and obviously Diggs and Dell didn't make it the whole year. Even Nico struggled with injuries at points too. So they obviously value that. They have Christian Kirk waiting around in the wings. That kind of now feels like, you're kind of going to be here this year, but not so much in the long term. They kind of just want another NFL caliber body in there. So I think there's more long-term upside with Noel. We don't even know if Tank Dell's going to play football again, guys, with how bad that injury is. Certainly not going to play this season. So there's a lot to like about Jaylen Noel as a prospect, and I think with a distributor like C.J. Stroud out there, a guy who's not going to steal out with his legs, I do actually think there could be some fantasy appeal for Jaylen Noel, especially if you can grab him for a mid-third round pick in your rookie drafts.
I like that pick a lot. I like Noel. We both like Noel and Higgins, and Higgins obviously went a little higher in the NFL draft, but Noel. Both land in the same spot, ironically, but I do like Noel's upside. Very, very athletic. So it could be. If Noel and Higgins both hit, I mean, that's going to be one hell of a receiving core in Houston. It should be wheels up for C.J. Stroud. That brings me to, it better be, yeah. That brings me to 306. And I am going to go with a pick that is almost a guaranteed bust because this team can't draft receivers. But hey, he was a 5th pick in the 3rd round to a team that desperately needs receivers. I'm going Kyle Williams, wide receiver, New England Patriots. I mean, he has the speed. I just hope this regime can develop receivers unlike the previous regimes, because I just feel like I don't know, you can relate to this, obviously, Kamish. I feel like anytime the Patriots draft a receiver, it's like, oh, that no chance, bust. It's never going to pan out. But I mean, obviously, that was a position of need, and they took him early in the 3rd round. So here in the middle of the 3rd round in this draft, I'm going to take a shot.
All right. You can. I guess I'll hope that your Patriots can kind of turn a wide receiver around here, but
just one time, guys.
One time, come on.
For the love of God, it's not that hard, guys. I mean, they should have taken Jalen Noel, for being honest, but they didn't.
I wish they did. I mean, Kyle Williams. Well, hey, we'll see. We'll see what he's got. But no, yeah, I like the prospect of Jalen Noel better than Kyle Williams.
Me too. But you know what? They're due to hit somebody. Hopefully this is the time it happens.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, it's a shame that Noel and Higgins ended up on the same team. I know it's Dynasty.
It really is.
We definitely hate that because I did like both of them as well. But, I think I'm going to do it, guys. I know, don't laugh at me here, but you said Dart. dart throw territory. This to me, this is more just like bag territory. Where I think this is an Aaron Downtown Brown lock 3-7 right here.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's a super flex draft, so I'm completely fine doing it here. I'm gonna go Will Howard here. Love the landing spot. I was quoted a couple shows back that I loved if Howard would end up on the Steelers, and that's exactly where he wound up. So I love it there. And right now, I really think he can be a starter, unless Aaron Rodgers somehow ends up on the team. But yeah, I love Will Howard here. So I'm going to take a shot at him here at the 3-7.
Yeah, I mean, usually we don't want to draft quarterbacks that get selected in the 6th round. Although there was one guy who was drafted in the 6th round that was pretty good.
Who was that again? I don't remember.
He looked pretty good with the Patriots logo on him. I think he was number 12. But that guy was pretty good. But enough of the Tom Brady comparisons when we start talking Will Howard. From a person, he is a guy I will say, like, as the process panned out, like you heard him talk and like you see he's a football junkie, man. Like the guy eats, sleeps, and breathes football, and he's no nonsense. So like I have appreciation for that. Obviously, won the national championship at Ohio State last season, so has that pedigree in his background as well. It is a good landing spot. So I actually don't hate the fact that he gets drafted in Superflex leagues because Aaron Rodgers is kind of playing like, do I want to play? Do I not want to play? It's like, dude, you're 41 years old. Like you're supposed to be working harder than ever to keep your NFL career going. But now you're like, oh, I don't know if I need this, which is just so Aaron Rodgers and on point. But we won't get into that. Mason Rudolph's there. Great. Like no one's ever got excited for Mason Rudolph to start games. So could he see the field down the line? We'll see. Maybe we'll see how the Pittsburgh situation pans out. But if you're in a league of taxi squads and you can park Will Howard on the bench, I think it's worthwhile. If you're grabbing him late in the 3rd round, I could see worse picks on the board than that here. Ethan, any quick thoughts on this before I keep this rolling?
No, just if anyone's going to draft Will Howard in this mock, it was Aaron Downtown Brown.
100%. Staying on point. I like that.
On brand over there.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm going to go back to the running back here. I like throwing darts at running backs in the 3rd round, like I said. I'm going to go to my guy Woody Marks here, the Houston Texans. I'm going to go take him here. He was drafted in the 4th round, 116th overall. To Houston, not much really to contend with at all on the Houston roster, other than Joe Mixon obviously is still there. He's an aging running back too. There's 1 million carries on his frame. So it's only a matter of time before he breaks down. And Marks is a guy who should give the team some pass catching chops right away. Spent a decade in college, it seemed like. I mean, he's 25 years old as a rookie, so I obviously don't love that. But we're throwing darts here late in the 3rd round, so I went with the guy with some pass catching upside in a good offense where I think he can do just enough on the ground where if Mixon does go down at some point in the next year or two, maybe even beyond, like Marks could carve out a role for himself and be viable here in a pinch here. And we're getting him here at the 308. I think there's the worst dart throws you can make at this stage in the draft, guys.
No, that was going to be my selection just because of the situation, the opportunity there. 4th round running back to the Houston Texans. So no, nice selection there. That gives me a little bit of a decision to make here. I think I'm going to stay with the running back position, and I'm not going draft capital here, but I'm just going to go situation. I'm going to go Ollie Gordon. The Miami Dolphins drafted him. His slide fell in the 6th round, which obviously isn't great capital, but I'm just taking a shot on the opportunity there. I know Jalen Wright's there, Devon Achane, but obviously Achane, I mean, he's not the most durable guy sometimes. And I mean, Jalen Wright really hasn't taken the reins. Ollie Gordon's a big bruising back. Maybe he can carve out a role there. So that's why I'm just going to take a flyer late in the 3rd round on the once Devy legend Ollie Gordon.
It's a good pick. I like it because I think that it's obviously we're late in this rookie draft, so it's fine. He gives you the dynamic that Achane and
exactly.
Jalen Wright, and obviously Mostert from years past too, don't have. So they kind of wanted that. He's the hammer in the offense that they didn't have in the past. So maybe they find a way to work him in. He's a Doak Walker winner, folks, like we've talked about. So Those guys are usually good in the NFL. Obviously, this is an uphill battle for him as a 6th-round pick, but you could do a lot worse than that. So just want to give a little bit of further analysis on Ollie Gordon, Aaron. So what do you got here for your next one?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, we're almost at fab territory. I'm actually going to go with another one of my sleepers, and it actually also turned, I don't know how it worked out like this with Will Howard, and then my sleeper ended up on the Kansas City Chiefs, but I'll go with a homer pick here. I'm going to go with Breshard Smith at the 310. I love it, honestly. Being a 7th-round pick here, you got Pacheco coming back with the Chiefs, but then who's behind him? You got Elijah Mitchell, you got Kareem Hunt, and you got Breshard Smith, who can really make a name for himself. So, I mean, Pacheco was a 7th-round pick. I think the Chiefs are actually trying to keep with that formula, keeping paying their running backs low, and if Smith turns out, he can have a lot of high upside for the Chiefs. So I have no problem going Smith here.
Yeah, another guy, you usually don't want to take running backs going that late, but like you said, the situation in the offense is one where if he carves out a role, it's a good offense to be a part of. So I definitely get that for sure. For mine, I'm really torn between 2 guys here, but I'm going to go with the tight end, just given the format here. So I'm going to go to the guy who led college football in everything receiving-wise last season in form of, with Harold Fannin Jr. Gets drafted in the 3rd round, early 3rd round as well, the 3rd pick in the 3rd round, which is great capital for a tight end. He's a guy who doesn't feature much to be a great blocker, which is okay for an NFL tight end from a fantasy standpoint, as long as they're good enough at blocking where it doesn't limit their snaps on the field. So I do have some questions here with Harold Fannin, but a lot of those risks are mitigated here with the fact that I'm taking him at 311. And like I said, it's a 1.75 tight end premium format. So all the risks are baked into the price point here where I'm getting them.
Yeah, Fannin, obviously a prolific college tight end. I mean, he broke all sorts of records. It was unfortunate that his combine wasn't very good, and he landed with the Cleveland Browns with a stud with David Njoku there. So, and no quarterback to speak of. So it's a tough situation for him, but it's hard not to draft a guy like that in this format. But that was me, the 312, and I guess I'd be hard pressed in a super flex league not to at least get this guy on our board. He took a massive fall in the NFL draft, taking a massive fall in our rookie draft right now. Going back to Cleveland, I mean, I'll show Shedeur Sanders some love. 312, Mr. Irrelevant. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was a guy that we talked about him here over the shows, and we were like, we weren't taking him in round 1 in any of the mocks that we did even before the NFL draft, and we did say like, hey, if he does go in the top 10 picks, like we're going to reevaluate this. We'll get him in the 1st round if that happens. We'll be fair about it, and it went the other way completely. Where like we were in Mexico, like you said, and we're like every single hour that went by, we're obviously having fun. We're like, oh my god, Shedeur Sanders is still there. Have we had so much tequila that we're missing something here? Like
I thought so. I really did. Like we must have missed something.
Yeah, I mean, we were ripping tequila pretty strong, but like I guess we didn't miss him coming off the board until he did on day 3, which is a crazy fall. But but he goes off the board here at the 312 here. Aaron, any thoughts on that?
No, I like Graham Sanders. I mean, before the draft is over, I think when it's all said and done, he's gonna actually take Gabriel's spot and end up starting. So we'll definitely see what happens. But I don't have a problem grabbing him before the draft's over if you're in the dart throw territory.
Yeah, I never saw like this top 10 prospect that everybody was pumping him up to be. And me and Kamish, we talked about it over and over. We had receipts. I mean, at one point I compared him to Kenny Pickett and Mac Jones here. Hey, they were first round. Yeah. They were first round picks. And it was more so just like, hey, yeah, he's a good facilitator in college. Yeah, he's throwing 75% completion percentage, but he's dinking and dunking. He doesn't push the ball down the field. I mean, with his arm talent, he needs to anticipate like crazy, not to throw a ton of picks or not to be successful. So because I just don't think his arm talent is there. I mean, obviously his pre-draft process was a train wreck by all reports. Granted, those are only reports. I don't really know exactly kind of what went down, but obviously something happened because all these analysts were pumping him up as a potential 102, 103, and he ended up in the 5th round, the second quarterback drafted by Cleveland. So, I mean, one of the more colossal draft falls that in all my memory, anyways.
Yeah, 100%. That was a brutal one for sure. But that concludes our 3-round mock here, folks. You can see the obviously the board is up there for you. A couple of decent guys didn't get drafted either in this mock. So there's a few players that I like that were still up there. I want to quickly throw out an honorable mention that didn't get drafted. So if we had a 4th round, they'd be coming off the board pretty quick. If you guys don't have one, that's fine. I want to throw one out here. I want to say DJ Giddens is a guy I would like to see sneak into a mock here. Ethan, I liked him a lot in the process of evaluation. The league didn't like him as much. He was a 5th round pick, 151 overall. Tough landing spot as well behind Jonathan Taylor in theory, but there's not much else there behind Taylor. And if you look at the manner in which Taylor's contract is structured, he's essentially walking into the last real year of his deal this season where they can save over about $13 million against the cap if they move on from him after this upcoming season, only eating $2.5 million dead cap to do so. So, I mean, this is a guy where if he gets in the program for a year, he's the definition of just a handcuff in 2025. But Taylor does have a tendency to get hurt as well every now and again and was mostly healthy last season. So maybe this is the year injuries come knocking for Taylor. If that happens and Giddens gets on the field and looks good, you could possibly be a guy who has a role going forward.
Honestly, if I didn't go Shedeur Sanders, DJ Giddens probably would have been my pick at the 312. I liked him. I was also potentially leaning to even Trevor Etienne, where I do think there is opportunity in Carolina. He was drafted in the 4th round, and I think Trevor Etienne he does have the requisite athleticism and skill set to carve out a role there. But yeah, like you said, there are still some decent players available on Fab, and I always think that's one of the best parts after the rookie draft is just kind of trying to spend all that money to try to get a few more darts out there.
Yeah,
I'll throw a quick dart.
Do it
real quick here. I like this guy went undrafted, but I know we always want to try to find an undrafted guy. I think Xavier Restrepo. I'm not sure.
Restrepo,
yeah, Tennessee.
So he's linking back up with Ward in Tennessee. So college buddies. As we know, they got wide receiver concerns. So I mean, that might be a nice shot to get him on your dynasty team. So I'll throw him out there.
I thought for sure you were going to say Jalen Royals just based on the
same. I thought he was going to go Jalen Royals too.
I'll pump the brakes on Casey a little bit.
And the very last name we'll put out here on this, since you brought up Tennessee receivers, is Eli Manor to the Titans. Was drafted in the 4th round. A developmental prospect, outside receiver, is another guy to monitor too. But that's going to wrap up our show here, folks. It was really fun. Mock season's been great. And then obviously it's real dynasty draft season now, so we're going to be enjoying that as well. Going forward here, we're going to switch gears away from the rookie stuff, at least for next week. We're going to talk about veteran winners and losers from the offseason thus far, kind of wrapping up everything like free agency, certainly the draft, any trades that went down, just kind of seeing, from the last time they played football, a little over, about 3 months ago at this point in the Super Bowl to where we are now, just kind of how the landscape shifted, who some of those winners are and some of those losers as well. So all that's coming down the pike for you folks. Make sure you're not missing any of our action here, of our content Sunday Surefire. Please hit that like button and the subscribe button as well. And until next time, folks, peace.